I get it sometimes before we record this. I'm like, oh, geez, what do I have? Like, Michael's got all these things behind his name, and he knows all this stuff. And what am I possibly going to have to add to this? I like draw with a Sharpie. Come on. Like, that's literally some of the, and then as soon as I feel it. So to me, the key is most of us feel it, but it's unconscious. And it's just this level of tension underneath. It feels like anxiety is what it feels like. To me, I'm pointing right now at my chest because I've learned, like, as soon as I feel it, and I often feel it in my chest, I can go, like, it's just a deep breath, like, oh, hey, there's that thing. And now I've personified it. So I can be, oh, hey. And I always look over my left shoulder, no matter where I am. I always look over my left shoulder. I'm like, oh, hey, that's that. So I think that's the important part is, number one, if you feel this way, you are not alone. Like, I did a bunch of research for this book we were working on, and I interviewed all sorts of people, CEOs of huge companies that you would all know the names of. You know, I had this amazing conversation. Let me tell you one super quick story. I had a conversation with somebody who's running one of the biggest churches in America. And I asked him about it. And he told me this story where in his dream, he's driving home from the church. He was young. He's like 32, and he's running one of the biggest churches in America at the time. And he said, the other place this happens a lot is if you've ever been in a boardroom and you're looking around to see who the dolt in the room is, and it's you, right? And you're like, oh no, everybody. He was saying, look, we'd have these big meetings. I'm 32. I don't even know what I'm doing. I know I'm a great pastor, but whatever. And I drive home, and in his dream, a police car pulls up behind him in the dream, driving home, and out of the car is God. And he walks up and he knocks on the window and he makes sort of the universal sign for, give me the keys. Like, who told you?
That is some high stakes when you're a preacher. Wow.
Who told you you could drive, was what he says. Like, give me the keys. My point is, everybody feels. There's this great story about Obama saying, gosh, like, first time alone in the Oval Office, I hope nobody finds out I'm here. So my point is, I think that's the important message. Like, the coping mechanisms are amazing, but it helped me so much to know that we all deal with it. And the only way to deal with it, to me, is to realize, like, the difference between people who do the things and the people who don't isn't that the fear went away. It's that they felt the same fear and did it anyway. And to me, that's the most important part of this.
Greetings, Carl here. Now, that little clip you just watched of Michael Kitces and I, that's from our podcast, Kitces and Carl. And I love those conversations. But did you know, this is sort of a secret, but did you know that there's another conversation? I have another conversation every month. It's a private conversation that you can only hear in my membership program at the Society of Advice. It's called The Membership. So here's the deal. I invite one of my favorite people every month. I actually kind of refer to it as Carl Talks to Smart People. So I invite a really smart, impactful person. Sometimes these are really well-known authors and thinkers. Sometimes it's obscure people you'll never have heard of, but I promise you will be massively insightful. And I invite them to have a conversation with me about three things. Number one, the craft of advice. And remember, these are almost always people from outside the financial services industry. So how to give better advice. Number two, how to do meaningful work, often in public, because, that's kind of hard, a little bit scary, right? And number three, how to be a better human, because I believe if we want to be better advisors, the best way to start is be better humans, right? So you're invited to that conversation every month. It's 90 minutes, dedicated space on your calendar to think about the impact you want to make. Because I don't know if you get that very often, but I hardly ever get time to think about the impact because I'm so busy doing the things, right? So that's what the membership is. People love it. And you know what? I don't think you should take my word for it. I think you should try. I have an idea. Let's do a free trial. 7-day free trial. There's a link. Just click the link and start your 7-day free trial to see what I'm talking about. Thanks, my friend.